JobKeeper companies fire 700,000 people. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my stein of coffee and I thought we'd have a look at this article from The Guardian discussing, well, companies that receive JobKeeper laying off more than 700,000 people. Workers that were excluded. Now, here's the thing. This is a government intervention into business. They've got strict rules and criteria in business. So they're going to create situations where the business has a financial advantage to make a decision based on getting the best from the government. What if you had someone, two workers, one that you've had a longer time that ticks the government box, the other one that you had a shorter time that ticks the government box? What if you were planning to fire the person that was there for a longer time? And you wanted to keep the shorter person, but you can't now because you don't get the same subsidy or the same money. This other person now that you've had for a shorter time costs you more because they're not getting the free money from the government or the subsidy for their wages. So it creates all these perverse situations where, well, people are losing control of their business. It's funny that in a free market how that tends to happen. I still think it should have been maybe a capped thing you could apply depending on your people, but we know that this was all rushed out really quick. It was planned really badly and the government just threw it out there just to keep it going because they were worried. They were worried about confidence, just consumer confidence crashing, business confidence crashing, and, well, I think they wanted to keep this number, the unemployment rate, a lot lower than it actually is. How many people on JobKeeper that's now been extended till March are not working, should be unemployed? It disincentivizes people as well from finding a job. It disincentivizes people from giving someone a job who's looking for one. Say you have someone that's on JobKeeper, maybe they're in the airline industry, they love that job. Are you going to take the risk of taking them on now to work in your business that's still running when you might lose them, when you put all the time in to train them? It takes months to get someone useful. Even if they have the skills, you need to adapt to a new environment, you need to get used to the culture, that's all part of it. So this whole process has been a mess. So maybe it should be limited, the number of employees companies have, because they wanted to avoid people rorting the system. But, it's all going to be rorted one way or another, isn't it? So companies receiving JobKeeper have laid off more than 700,000 excluded workers. Treasury figures lay bare the impact of the coalition's decision to shut out short-term casual workers and temporary visa holders. Almost 750,000 employees of companies receiving JobKeeper were laid off because they were ineligible for wage subsidies, according to an Australian Institute analysis of the data in the Treasury Review. The Treasury Review released on Tuesday reveals that between mid-March and the end of April, half of all ineligible employees of companies claiming the $1,500 fortnightly payment were laid off. And the thing is, this is going to continue until March. There's going to be more of these things happening. You're creating an incentive to keep one class of people and not another. You'd have to be pretty bloody good and skilled to, get paid more or take that $1,500 hit. The figures lay bare the impact of the government's decision to exclude 1.1 million casual short-term workers and 1 million temporary visa holders from the wage subsidy. Exclusions that were opposed by Labor, the Greens, and the unions. Well, of course they were opposing it. The Treasury Review revealed that organizations claiming JobKeeper cut 5% of jobs held by eligible employees in the first fortnight after the policy was announced in March. But these jobs have since been fully restored. So this is a lot of debt that's been taken on. All of these measures that have been taken on. And you've got to compare where's the opportunity cost that we're facing here? It's future generations that are going to bear this burden. And I know the MMT magicians who think you just never have to pay the debt. That only goes on so long until they tax you to take it back one way or another and then destroy the money. It's all a fantasy, everyone. We're going to be burdened with this one way or another. You're going to pay the price. Eventually, there'll be such a loss in confidence that you'll all pay the price one way or another. The job losses have been largely borne by ineligible employees and organizations that are JobKeeper recipients, it said. A Treasury graph showed when the policy was introduced, employees of companies that didn't claim the payment made up 60% of the workforce. Eligible employees of claimants were about 26%, and ineligible employees of claimants were 14%. Based on the fact that ineligible employees have halved from 14 to 7% of the workforce by the end of May, the Australian Institute calculated 723,700 people lost their jobs because they were ineligible for JobKeeper. Maybe they lost them for other reasons too, honestly. Maybe they lost them for other reasons. But, this is the problem when the government intervenes. When they intervene in the market, this is part of the unintended consequences. It's the same thing. I was reading some of the comments from people about dealing with the job agencies where they tried to get a job and, employers had said, oh, are you with an agency? Okay, how long have you been there? Yada, yada, yada. They were fishing to see if they could get a 10 grand bonus for hiring someone who was maybe unemployed for a long time or those type of things. So they want to get the little kickback. They want to get the bribe from the government. The bribe from the government. This is all to do. It's all intervention in the market, everyone, one way or another. This isn't freedom. This isn't freedom. David Richardson, a senior research fellow at the Australian Institute, said there was unfortunately a strong incentive to keep JobKeeper to dismiss non-eligible workers. Well, of course it is. It's a $1,500 a fortnight incentive. That's the point. That's the point. JobKeeper was designed in a deliberate way that excluded whole sections of the community, including some of the most economically vulnerable people in the country, he said. Too many workers in highly casualized and insecure industries such as arts and entertainment, hospitality, retail and accommodation have been intentionally overlooked by this scheme, and now we are seeing the consequences in black and white. Richardson said, well, no, they're all on JobSeeker receiving higher payments. Maybe we should just have everyone on JobSeeker. I understand the benefit of JobKeeper is to keep that relationship going, but there are a lot of businesses that are getting JobKeeper that probably don't need it. Richardson said the government should be doing more to support those casual and non-resident workers who were often already struggling before the pandemic. On Tuesday, the government announced it will extend the period but cut the rate of JobKeeper wage subsidies and JobSeeker supplement. Eligibility for JobKeeper was further narrowed, with businesses needing to re-qualify for the payment and the introduction of new lower rates for workers doing less than 20 hours a week. Despite Treasury advice, there was little clear benefit to a differential rate. Well, here's the thing. Why isn't it a 15... Okay, here's the question. Why isn't it paid to the business? The businesses can apply for up to $1,500 a fortnight as a subsidy that they can apply to each individual worker. Why isn't it done like that? Why is this fantasy that it goes straight to the worker to hide the unemployment? Why not? Is that too complicated? It would be easier to manage. The problem, and most of the businesses had to cash flow this bloody payment anyway. So if you've got someone that you're only employed for a few hours a week, you can get that. Only take $300 and pay them to keep them in there. Why couldn't you do that? In April, Guardian Australia reported that 180 people were stood down at South Pacific Laundry. The company confirmed in emails to the construction of the CFMEU that it had stood down workers on visas first, as they don't qualify for the job seeker payment. Yes, that's what happens, guys. Life. Why is a laundry? Why does a laundry need visa holders? It's unskilled work. Why is that necessary when our unemployment rate is at 7.4%? Wait. One Nepalese worker at the laundry, who declined to be named for fear he could not return to his job, told The Guardian the company was unable to give us work because of the downturn in the business. But they are still giving the work to people who are JobKeeper eligible. Yeah, that's the whole point of JobKeeper. This is a recession, okay? This is a recession. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. All JobKeeper is doing is just delaying the inevitable, everyone. It's delaying the inevitable. Andrew Giles, Labor's multicultural affairs spokesman, said the case was an example of why we need greater support for temporary migrants trapped in Australia during this pandemic. We can't allow people to fall through the cracks and become destitute, he told The Guardian. Throughout the pandemic, food banks and restaurants giving away free meals have supported international students and other temporary visa holders locked out of federal government support, with a further spike in demand expected from Melbourne's second lockdown. Well, we're going to see that. What do you think, everyone here? I mean, there's charities taking care of these people. Why do we have visa workers from Nepal working in laundries here in Australia? It's not really a skilled industry. Can someone explain that to me? Are people just too good to work for it? Or is it the story of people working illegally at lower rates? Let me know. What do you think? What if, I'm arguing constantly for special economic regions. What if we create advantages there and then only extend those to citizens? Wouldn't that be good to actually have an advantage, a competitive advantage in your own country to people coming in, low-skilled people coming in? I mean, good on you if you want to migrate over here and come here. Fantastic. But isn't that a long-term visa, not a short-term one? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. I think it's all just a mess, and here we're seeing the signs of the government stepping in. Government stepping in and playing with the market. It's going to get worse. We're hitting a recession. As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use gold pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care. I'll see you next time.